Hello everyone and happy Saturday. I know this is not the video that you guys were expecting to see going up on this channel today. You probably were expecting What Sold Saturday, but unfortunately we do not have one for you guys this week. There is a reason for that, and I'm not going to get into it right here, but I made a community post of why and what's going on the feed, or like in our channel feed of community posts. So if you're interested, you can check that out. And I do apologize that this is not reseller related, but if you're interested in this video, stay tuned, and if you're not, we will see you later in the week. Hello ghouls and ghosties. So today we have a Skelly just refuses to sit next to me. There we go. So today we have a very oh, that's Mike. I thought Skelly fell again. We have a very exciting video that I did not expect would be going up, or that I would be filming or doing, especially not this year. We had the literal find of all finds, and some of you might already know what that means. It is the rarest, most hard to find, probably also one of the most expensive Halloween decorations that exist, and it has been out for 2 years now, and it's always in very limited supply. Not only does it take up a lot of space on the store's shelf, but it also is huge and is very hard probably for a factory to make a lot of. So what I am talking about today is, drum roll please, the 12-foot skeleton. Yes, I actually got one. I found one, and I actually have a little bit of a story time before we get into actually setting it up. So if you'd like to fast forward through my story and just watch me put it up and watch the end result, go ahead and do that. But it's kind of a journey. It's a lot of luck as to how I got one, and I just wanted to share it with you guys because, like I said, I had zero expectation, especially this year. I really wanted to get one next year because I'm going to be getting a house next summer, and I was going to gift myself that for like my first Halloween in my first house, but I had an opportunity and I was not about to skip it. So let's jump into the story time because it is a wild ride. If you are from the main channel or you've watched this channel for a little while, you know that my mother's name is Debbie, and so Debbie and I were actually going to a winery one day. It's like in up north Minnesota because I live in Minnesota. This winery was like an hour and 15 minutes away, and if you don't know, the 12-foot skeleton is sold at Home Depots, and obviously there are not as many Home Depots around as like Target or Walmart or Walgreens or something. If your Home Depots don't have something, you don't have that many options to check other ones. So I had been checking the Home Depots all around my area for the past, like, I don't know, 2 months. I've been checking them nonstop, mainly actually for the man-eating plant, because I thought that there was no chance in literal HE double hockey sticks that I would be finding the 12-foot skeleton. So I literally was not really even looking for one. It's like I said, we were heading up to this winery that was about an hour and 15 minutes away, and I was just talking about my Halloween hunting and the decor that I wanted to Debbie on the drive. How like the skeleton and the man-eating plant and basically all the Home Depot stuff is basically impossible to find. There's like no chance you're gonna get the thing you want unless you pay up online for someone who is reselling one for at least double the price that they cost. For example, the 12-foot skeleton is $300 at Home Depot, and if you want to get one online, they're at least $1,000. If you were super lucky, you could maybe find one for $800, but also then you're paying like $100 for shipping, and I couldn't even imagine how scared I would be about if that thing would break on the way to my house. So I was talking to Debbie about all these rare things that I wanted, aka the man-eating plant and the skeleton, and she was like, oh, well, have you seen if there's a Home Depot on the way? Because obviously this winery is kind of like in the outskirts, not super populated areas. And also this is an area that like we never ever get to, so I have obviously never checked these Home Depots. So I did a little search, and there were kind of 2 Home Depots on the way. One of them was literally on the road that we were taking, and then the other one would have been kind of out of the way. So I was like, I'm not gonna make Debbie go out of the way, but I will make her stop at this one that's literally on the road we were taking. So we stop at this Home Depot in this kind of outskirt small city. And this Home Depot, the employees told us, was literally the smallest Home Depot, at least in the state. I don't know if it's like the smallest almost in the entire region. They might have said region. So it's a very small Home Depot, but they still had a Halloween section. So of course, when I walk in, first thing I do is walk over to the Halloween section. As usual, they only had like one animatronic out and a couple of the inflatables and really nothing else. They did not have any boxes for anything. The shelves were empty besides maybe some like little like pumpkin decorations, kind of how all of the Home Depots are if you have been into one. But it was a little weird because they actually had a spot on the shelf with the UPC for the 12-foot skeleton. I will tell you, I have been to at least like 5 Home Depots in my area, and I know that they put the stickers out for things that they at least had carried at some point. And I had just never heard of or seen one having the sticker for the 12-foot skeleton. And that is kind of like the only sticker and UPC that they had. It seemed like they had not got any of the animatronics or anything, because one of the ones near me had gotten quite a few animatronics, not the ones I wanted, but a couple of them. So they had the spots for them, but they were of course empty. So just out of curiosity, I was like, okay, well they have a spot for it. Let's just ask the employee if they by chance have any. Obviously, I'm sure they don't. Even if they had one on the shelf at some point, I'm sure that they do not have any. So we find an employee. Actually, we found 2 employees. We asked them kind of at the same time, do you guys know if you'd possibly have the skeletons? We saw the spot, whatever. And one of them said the usual like, oh, absolutely not. Not in a mean way, but like, absolutely not. Those things are so popular. We see them online all the time. They sold out within like 5 minutes of us putting them out. There's no way we have any. We are not getting any more in. Nope, sorry. We just have the spot for them still, but we do not have any. And the other employee said that she could scan the spot for us just to check, because like, why not check? So she walks over with her little like employee scanning gun and she scans it and she says, strangely enough, the computer says that we have one. And obviously, with items that stores get in very limited amounts of, like 2 or 1, the count can go off so easy. So still, I am thinking to myself, doubt it. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm sure that this is just some kind of mistake, that they probably sold one and maybe they had just scanned in that they had 3 and they sold 2 and they actually only ever had 2. Who knows? This employee still kind of was like, I doubt we have one. It says we have one. I'm not sure why we have one. If you really want, I can ask my manager if he knows if we have one, but I don't think so. And we said, I mean, sure, if you're offering, we can go ask the manager. And so the manager did kind of the same thing that that first employee did. He was like, no, there's no way we have one. That must be a mistake. They sold out within 5 minutes of going on the shelf. The first day we got them, which was like 2 weeks ago, no way we have one at all. And so this employee, who bless her heart, is the biggest icon in the world. She checked into it on her phone while he was talking to us. And she was like, well, the system actually says this one that we have in stock came in on a truck last night. So my hopes were starting to escalate a little bit. My hopes were getting higher and higher. I was like, are you serious? And then I could tell by the look on the manager's face, he all of a sudden was like, wait a second, we might actually have one then. Because he kind of was like, are you sure? And he looked at the system and he was like, okay, it does say the 13th. I think we were there on like the morning of the 14th, and it said that they came in the night of the 13th. And he told the employee, okay, well, you can call the back room if you want and check for these customers. I still assume we don't, but you can check since it says we got one in last night. So she calls the back room and the back room says, oh, we got one in last night and I just scanned and entered it into our inventory system 45 seconds before this phone just rang. And I kid you not, I like started to panic. Like this, I cannot. It was just like crazy. Like okay. So they confirmed that they had one. They had one on the truck. They told us that they had to unload it from the truck, come back in like 2 hours, and we will get it to you. Obviously, I was like, is there any way I can pay? Please, because I know if you guys put it out, it is going to sell in 2 seconds. Can I claim it? Can I put my name on it? Can I something? Because it was like jammed in the truck. They had to get it out before they could give it to me. And they said that I could pay for it and they would hold it for me. We would just go to the winery and we'd come back in a couple hours and we'd pick it up. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. But guys, can you just think of all the odds that, like, all the stars that aligned for the situation? We went to a Home Depot that was like an hour away from the house that we'd never been to. We just happened to get this employee who was willing to go above and beyond and scan it for us, call the back room for us, talk to the manager for us. She was an icon. The fact that the item had been scanned in 45 seconds before we had them call. Also, we were talking about going to the winery the day before. So again, another thing that just like the odds of that, the timing that we got there, the timing with the scanning of the inventory, the timing with the night that it got there on the truck, the employee, we got the best employee. I'm pretty sure that this was like the only Home Depot, probably in the US, that got more skeletons in. Those were supposed to be completely sold out across the entire US. Couldn't get them online. They actually had deleted the page with the listing on the website. Could not get them in any store, couldn't request them, couldn't get them shipped, could not do pickup in store, cannot get them anywhere, literally in the US. And we were in this one tiny town in the region's smallest Home Depot and just happened to be there at literally the exact right minute to get this skeleton. Of course I bought it. Duh. So yes, that is the story behind that. And now I will put it up. So before we end this video, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a little like reflection and how it was setting up the skeleton, since you guys couldn't like hear me in the little video that you just saw, and just talk about like what were the hardest parts and what I think of the skeleton now that it's finished. So, okay, while I was putting together this skeleton, I was just like realizing how huge it actually was. Like, you can tell, I think I put little words in the video. You can tell by the looks on my face that as I was putting it together, like when I got to the knee, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is huge. Then when I got to like the entire leg being up, that was literally already like at my height. So I was like, this is gonna be freaking huge. I have heard people who had the skeleton, I have heard online that they are like, you really don't understand how huge it is until you see it finished and up in person. And that is absolutely the reality. Like, it is freaking huge. Even from the video and from the pictures that you guys just saw, I don't think that you're getting the full idea of how huge it is, but I absolutely freaking love it. And it's so cool how the eyes light up in the dark. I kind of wish that he made some kind of like cool noise or something, but I guess you could always put like a speaker by him on Halloween and have some kind of like creepy grumbling noise or something playing. Also, for those of you that don't know my height, I'm actually 6'4". So in that picture that you see of me standing next to him, think about how I'm 6'4" and I'm still like below his pelvis. He's literally taller than the deck that we have in the backyard. Kind of like reflecting on the process of putting them together and stuff, I just wanted to let you guys know, in case you ever are gonna get a 12-foot skeleton, what the easiest and like hardest parts of putting him together was. So honestly, it is a really easy assembly. It says that it's supposed to be 2-person, but as you guys saw, it was just me doing it. And it also said that it was supposed to take an hour, but I believe that it only took me about 45 minutes putting it together. I mean, I already had it all unboxed and everything, which I don't know if that counts as like 15 minutes of it, but to put it all together only took me like 45 minutes, and it definitely was like possible as one person, but there were a couple parts that were a little tricky, and it would have been nice to have 2 people. The pelvis, you might have saw me like struggling in the video. Pelvis is where like all the robotics and stuff are. It's heavy, and at that point when you're putting the pelvis on, you are already like dealing with a 6-foot tall like pair of legs. So it's literally like raising this really heavy thing above you, and I think it obviously really helped that I am 6'4", because if you weren't, you'd need like a ladder, and that would be very difficult to put together. So that was definitely a part where you'd probably want like 2 people. And then the part where you lay it down and you have to like, you attach his rib cage and you lay him down like on his chest. I just kept getting nervous that like the chest was weak, even though it showed in the diagram that you could just lay it down. To me, it just seemed like it was gonna break. So I had to keep like somehow holding it up by like the spine. That's why I was using that cone. So that part was a little tricky too. And the rib cage itself was kind of hard to put on because the pole going through it had to go through a hole like at his neck opening that was literally like the size of the pole. So it was kind of tricky to like find where the end was and stuff. So those were really the only 2 like kind of difficult parts. Everything else was like super easy. In the instructions, you're supposed to put the arms on while he's laying, but I did not think that there was enough room for his like forearms and hands. And so I just brought a ladder out, and once I had him standing, I just attached them that way, and that worked perfectly fine. So yeah, those are my tips if you're ever gonna get a 12-foot skeleton. I don't know if that's like on your agenda, but if it is, those are my little tips for you. So yeah, I hope that you guys liked this video. Again, I know this isn't what you were expecting on Saturday. This was actually meant for Friday on the second channel, but I just wanted to give you guys something this week because the other option was to not do anything at all. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did watch this video, I had a ton of fun making it, and I will see you this next week. Someday. Bye.